Some breaking news to bring you, as I said before the break, because the number of Senate-confirmed picks for President Trump's cabinet has grown ever larger. After the Senate floor, we just brought you senators voting to confirm Linda McMahon to be the next Secretary of Education here. So I wanted to put up some of these shots that we have live there on the Senate floor, and then of McMahon herself. The vote was 51 yeas, 45 nays. Well, who is she? Well, she led the World Wrestling Entertainment, of course, the WWE. She served on Connecticut's State Board of Education for about a year before heading to the U.S. Small Business Administration. Now, remember, she served in the first Trump administration as the Small Business Administrator. So she served there in that role for about 2 years during Trump's first term. She then left the federal government in 2019 to chair the pro-Trump super PAC America First Action, and she currently serves in leadership roles at the America First Policy Institute, which is a think tank staffed by veterans of Trump's first White House team. Now, up until recently, not much was known about McMahon's policy positions on education, but in January, the America First Policy Institute, they shared more about where she stands and where she wants to take the agency. So she supports parental rights in education. She supports the expansion of school choice beyond district boundaries. She supports career and technical education programs and prioritizing evidence-based learning in core subjects like math and reading. And as we have brought you many times here on Live Now from Fox, a key component of President Trump's agenda when it comes to education is also something that McMahon supports, including opposing political indoctrination in classrooms and one-size-fits-all education models. As you know, the culture war debates about critical race theory and transgenderism with regard to public curriculum and public schools has been front and center. And so now McMahon is confirmed to lead the Department of Education, a department, remember, and just to provide the context, that many Republicans, including many in Trump's cabinet, in his administration, want to either downsize or outright eliminate, citing some of the waste, fraud, and abuse. You've heard President Trump say so many times that education should be left up to the states. And so it will be interesting to see how Linda McMahon now navigates some of those political hurdles at the department. And so we've been speaking with members of Congress. About a couple of weeks ago, I spoke with the Republican from Utah, Burgess Owens. He's the vice chair of a House committee that is focused on oversight of the Education Department. And I asked him, what will happen to the Department of Education? And he said as much that he thinks eventually it will be downsized and or phased out. I asked him, well, will that happen in 4 years in Trump's second term? To which he demurred. He could not say, though those efforts are ongoing by some of these prominent House and Senate Republicans and members of the Trump administration and those working at DOJ to make cuts not only to the workforce there at the department, but also to either downsize or eliminate outright its core mission as a federal agency. So I think that's kind of just an interesting dynamic at play. We had asked some of these members of Congress, well, why does the president even need a Secretary of Education if they see little need for the department itself? And so we'll just have to wait and see how McMahon leads the department with that kind of hanging over the conversation, hanging over the dialogue. So now, remember, the Trump administration has already placed dozens of Education Department employees on paid administrative leave. The White House has also confirmed the president's plans to shutter department programs that are not protected by law, and his plans to call on Congress to close the department entirely, like I had said here. So now, McMahon would also inherit an agency that has struggled under the previous secretary, remember his name, Miguel Cardona, to launch some of these big initiatives, from broad-based student loan forgiveness to the revamping of FAFSA. How so many of us, how so many of you watching, applied for federal aid to go to college. That's the free application for federal student aid. So time will tell, and we'll follow how McMahon chooses to lead the organization. And so really the confirmation battles and the confirmation votes are somewhat coming to an end here. Remember, we still wait for Trump's pick to be Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer to be confirmed over some of these interesting kind of Republican holdouts. And so we'll just have to wait for that pick. Of course, a lot of these ambassador picks that Trump has made in the transition and the first couple of months of the administration also have to be Senate confirmed. And so we'll be bringing you all of this in real time, as we always do here. But now, Linda McMahon confirmed as the Secretary of Education. And remember, even before her confirmation, she was on hand, and she appeared at Trump's first cabinet meeting last week there in the White House. And we showed you that from start to finish, as we always do here. So, and we have been covering from the very beginning all of these nominees, all of these confirmation fights, confirmation votes, and we just got that one there. Linda McMahon going to become the next Secretary of Education. We'll be back in 2 minutes.